Magandang araw mga kabansa, kayo po ay nasa Iparas kay Paras at ito ay inyong lingkod Ado Paglinawan na bumabati sa inyo, Secretary.
Magandang hapon, Paring Ado. Magandang hapon naman muli sa ating mga mahal na mga kababayan na nagdudusa pa rin dahil sa kawalan sa buhay at ito po ay dahil sa sobrang kabulastugan ng ating gobyerno ngayon, no? At sobrang mahal ang bilihin. So, mga kababayan, konting tiis na lang at magkabuklod-buklod tayo para sa kapakanan ng ating bayan. Mga kababayan, kamakailan lang na pag-usapan namin ni Paring Ado sa isang episode namin. Yung pagpunta ni Marcos doon sa Singapore sa isang forum at doon po sinabi ni Marcos na kung may masaktan or may mamamatay na isang kababayan natin, maging private person man, maging sundalo o member ng Coast Guard, at ito ay dahil sa willful and deliberate act of China. Ibig sabihin, kung ginawa ng China ang isang aggressive na at pang-aapi or pagsasakit sa ating mga kababayan, ito daw ay isang act of war. Ano ba yung act of war, Paring Ado, sa in ordinary parlance?
Well, ang act of war ay isang agresibong aksyon na nagdudulot ng destruction, killing, o di kaya pagkasugat ng mga tao sa kabilang dako.
So, because of that, yung sinasabi niyang ginawa ng China, hindi daw niya papayagan yung ganon. Kaya nga po, ang sinabi namin, kung ganon, bakit hindi mo isagawa na? Para matapos na tayo. Kung nagbobola ka sa tao or magkatotohanan ka, talagang gusto mo ng away talaga sa China dahil ang tingin nyo sa administrasyon nyo na binabalasubas tayo ng China, inaagaw yung ating ikangay mga teritoryo, tapos at the end of that, sinaktan ang ating mga kababayan, mga sundalo, gigirahin mo na sila. Pero bakit bumahag yung puwet mo? Bakit bumahag yung buntot mo? Sina-challenge ka namin para matapos na tayo. Malaman na ng taong bayan kung talaga bang may kakayahan tayong idepensa. Kasi sinasabi mo, mayroon tayong isang bansa na pinagkukunan natin ng lakas. At mayroon tayong tinatawag na Mutual Defense Treaty at sinasabi ng mga taong ito ay mayroon tayong ironclad. Yung parang napakalakas na
Armor
ng made of steel. Kailangan ng welding para yan,
hindi lang taga sa bato, taga sa bakal.
Taga sa bakal na pag-uugnayan. Para makita natin kung talaga bang sasakluluhan tayo. Bakit ka umatras? Bakit ka umatras? At ang lumabas pa, nagkakalukuhan pa doon sa pagsabi sa publiko kung ano talagang nangyari. Kaya ang iyong butihing kapatid, Mr. Marcos, si Madam Senator Imee, ay nagsagawa ng investigasyon. At doon natuklasan niya na hindi ka nais-nais yung pagpapalakad mo sa gobyerno. Yung mga tao mo, yung executive secretary at ang defense secretary mo ay salungat ang sinasabi at lalong nababahala ang publiko kung ano ba talaga ang ang katunayan dito at ano ba talagang kakayahan mo na gampanan ang isang maayos na gobyerno, paring Ado. Ito.
Para kasing nawawala ka pagka nakakaroon ng nakakaroon ng kontrobersiya na kailangan ng Pangulo. Kaya ang tanong ng tao, nasaan ang Pangulo?
Oo, at may kakayahan ba ang Pangulo? Kasi nalilito ang tao kung sinong papaniwalaan. Ito po ang nangyari dito sa investigasyon na ginawa ni Ginang Imee Marcos.
Medyo nalilito ang lahat kasi nung una, ang sinabi ni Senator, binanggit na rin ni Senator Ontiveros, pero ang una, sinabi ni Secretary Chodoro na itong Ayungin incident, it was a true obstacle to the peace and the stability in the South China Sea. General Browner proceeded to say that this was tantamount to an act of piracy. However, last Friday, Executive Secretary Bersamin labeled the matter as a mere accident or misunderstanding. And then less than 48 hours later, Secretary Chodoro again said this is not an accident. Are we flip-flopping with the characterization of what occurred? It seems fairly clear from what we heard from our Navy and our Coast Guard what occurred. What exactly occurred and how do we term it? Kasi hindi rin kami nakakaintindi at litong-lito na ang mamayang Pilipino sa naririnig na parang paiba-iba naman ata tayo. Secretary Chodoro.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. The Executive Secretary was interviewed on the aftermath of the the second National Maritime.
Gibo, that was 5 days after the incident.
Yes, ma'am.
And it can hardly be a preliminary assessment 5 days after.
At that time, ma'am.
5 araw nakalipas. Nasabi na ni General Browner, piracy to. So he was
because,
able to conclude that. Why did the ES Bersamin conclude something completely different?
No, he did not conclude, ma'am. If you notice, being a Chief Justice, he used the terms probably, and he wanted to make sure of his facts.
I think there was no probably about the mere misunderstanding or accident.
No, ma'am, I think there was
yun.
probably, if we review the transcript, and he was asked about whether or not it was considered an armed attack, and somehow it was in answering that question, he said it was probably even a misunderstanding or what.
I'll have to review the same, but
I distinctly recall, ma'am. I think
is that so?
Yes, ma'am. I think the staff can check the record of the transcript.
Regardless, it gave the impression that you were downplaying the incident following the meeting of the National Maritime Council. Kaya nalilito po tayo kasi nung umpisa, pirata na to. At saka talagang aggressive and illegal act of attack, ano? Pagkatapos noon, naging misunderstanding na lang.
No, after that, ma'am.
So,
we have
medyo
to...
nahihilo na kami. Hindi na namin
Hindi,
paano ipaliwanag ko eh.
Dating Chief Justice po si ES, sigurado po siya dapat sa facts niya bago yun ho ang disiplina niya, yun ho ang training niya. Now, before po this
5 days after the National Security Council, the DND didn't have enough information.
For 2 to 3 days, ma'am, we were
the former Chief Justice.
No, ma'am, it was the first time that we had met. As a matter of fact, during the incident, the Chief of Staff and I were in Korea to launch the 2 ships that are going to be delivered. So we had to hurry home and get stock of the situation because right now, ma'am, we're really implementing the area command concept where the primary decision maker will be the area commander.
I'm a little confused because 5 days later, there wasn't sufficient information, but General Browner already told us, talagang lumaban mga Pilipino with their bare hands. I distinctly recall that. This was before the National Maritime meeting. Are we saying that nobody from NMC, DND, and SA bothered to ask General Browner?
No,
Anong ibig sabihin niya nun?
We did, but in the NMC meeting, these were one of the agenda items, and the rest of the agenda items were the recommendations to the president. But even before this, the president had already scheduled a visit to Westcom, where he was able to personally spend time with each and every one. And after that, it came out already that he made a determination himself already in spite
Pero
of the
kawawa pa
NMC.
yata si ES dyan dahil
Yes, ma'am. I think so because
ano ba nangyari dyan? Parang walang proper verification, sinalang siya sa presko, nagsalita siya, ngayon linalaglag ng lahat. Anong klase yun?
Can you imagine? Si Bersamin, sa Chief Justice daw at
Not
parang
sure of his facts.
hindi
Chief
daw
Justice.
sure of his facts, Chief
Ha?
Justice. ES Bersamin, lulukukan itong si Teodoro. Parang wala kang kwentang primus inter pares. Wali ka taking certain of your facts. Nakakahiya.
For a former Chief Justice.
Oo, nakakahiya na sinasabi ni Teodoro, nakakahiya ka sa publiko. Hindi mo ginagampanan ang tama na ikaw pa naman ang pangulo ng lahat ng mga cabinet secretary.
You're the little president.
Oo. Tapos, ini-insist ni Ginang Imee na sinungaling ito si Teodoro. Napakasinungaling mo, Teodoro, sabi ni Imee. Kasi, unang-una, nagsabi na si Browner. Tapos ngayon, sasabihin mo, hindi nyo pa alam, kailangan pang ang, can you imagine, paring Ado?
Oh.
Sila yung sinwelduhan.
Sila yung hands-on.
Sila yung hands-on.
Oh.
Ha?
Pero kailangan gumawa pa sila ng version.
Kailangan pa, hintayin pa na si Marcos pa ang mag-usyoso sa mga sundalo para malaman yung katotohanan. Where can you find such nonsense? Saan mo makukuha yung isang DND secretary na ganun ang kukote? Kailangan mo pa bang hintayin yung... In fact, it should be the other way around. Ikaw dapat, ang maggagampanan mo dapat ang trabaho mo na ikaw ang magsusuri sa mga sundalo para i-brief mo ang Pangulo. Parang lumalabas pa kasi si Marcos na hindi naman niya trabaho yan, siya pa ang
Mag-brief sa'yo.
mag-brief sa'yo or ihikayat ng move na alamin sa mga tropa mismo. Can you imagine? Kaya nga, what's happening to our government? Galing pa yan mismo sa kapatid, matandang kapatid ni Marcos. At binuboljak kayo dahil napaka-incompetent nyo. Hindi ka ba mahiya yan? In Japan, dapat nagharakiri ka na, Mr. Teodoro.
Bago ka umuwi.
Oo.
Ikaw pa lang wala sa bansa eh. Si Bersamin nandito eh.
Si Bersamin nandyan, ikaw ang wala.
Oh,
Kaya wala kang alam.
jet lag siguro.
Tapos hinintay mo pa si Marcos, na si Marcos pa ang mag-usyoso.
Ang punta doon sa Westcom para tanungin yung mga sundalo para mag-report sa'yo.
Para mag-report sa'yo. Nakakatawa ka, Mr. Gibo.
Oh my goodness.
Nako.
And
Ano
then
ba
yung
yan?
babastusin mo si Bersamin,
Tapos ba...
sa isang formal investigation.
Tapos sasabihin,
Wow.
dapat alam niya yan, executive secretary siya, dapat inaalam niya yung facts. Parang pinahiya mo pa si Bersamin, Mr. Teodoro. Nakakahiya ka.
Malugan lamang na
Tapos yung kanyang junior niya, yung kanyang parehong utak ang pag-iisip, itong pretending to be the spokesman of the Coast Guard, na hindi naman pala siya, ay kung ano-anong sinasabi sa mga nangyayari na incident. Gusto niya palabasin parati na sa lahat ng bagay na nangyayari diyan sa South China Sea, ang China ang may kagagawan.
At Bibo sila. Bibo.
At hindi man lang mag-imbestiga kung anong katotohanan, at kailangan pa ng lecturean siya ng tunay na spokesman ng Coast Guard. Ito po ang pangyayari. Ito. Pakita natin. Si spokesman Balilo, isang mataas na opisyal ng Coast Guard, ay pinagsabihan pa itong Tariela na napakasinungaling mo, Tariela. Dapat matanggal ka na talaga dito dahil you're a menace. To the Philippine Coast Guard and to the Philippine government.
Si Balilo ho ay Rear Admiral at siya official spokesman ng Philippine
Tapos
Coast Guard.
sumisingit-singit itong itong opisyal na hinahanap na ni Vicky Bello para maayos ang kanyang ito.
Balilo Lambas Tariela says CCG offered help. Sorry. Ayan. It's a fight that China may well like. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Rear Admiral Armand Balilo yesterday chided a subordinate officer, Commodore J. Tariela, for questioning the narrative that China offered to help 8 Filipino fishermen after their boat's engine exploded last Saturday. Balilo stood firm on his earlier statement that members of the Chinese Coast Guard and the People's Liberation Army, Navy, tried to assist the stricken fishermen, 2 of whom suffered severe burns at Bajo de Masinloc. Tariela, the PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea matters, doubted the PCG's account that the Chinese offered to help. It may be recalled that the PCG last 17 June had to rescue members of the Philippine Navy Special Operations Group after the CCG attacked them while they were on a resupply mission to the BRP Sierra Madre at Ayungin Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. What does he want now? To condemn China again? Said Balilo in Filipino and English in an exclusive interview with the Daily Tribune on Monday.
Klarong-klaro yung matino na Coast Guard official na who is really the real spokesperson, pinagsabihan na tama na yung pang-iintriga mo. Gusto mo na namang intrigahin si Marcos, si Gibo, na ito na naman kagagawa na naman ng Philippine Coast Guard, ng Chinese Coast Guard. Klarong-klaro na tinulungan ng Chinese Coast Guard ang aberya na mga fishermen. Isa o dalawang fishermen ay nagkaroon pa ng burns or sunog sa kanilang katawan at sila ay ni-rescue ng China. Hindi naman sa lahat ng oras kaaway ang China. Because sila ay mayroon ring kasariling humanitarian action. Pero ikaw, hindi mo alam, Mr. Tariela, hindi mo alam yung facts. Automatic, dahil hate na hate mong China, masyado kang nilaso ng mga kano na lahat ng aksyon ng China ay...
Kano at Hapon.
At Hapon ay masama, wala ka man lang osyoso kung tama ba yung mga dinadalal mo. Kaya ngayon, pinagsabihan ka once and for all na parang manok, mga manok na kumakain. Binubugaw ka na ni Balilio. Huwag ka na makialam dito. Imbis magkaroon ng magandang diplomatic relation ang Pilipinas at China,
Panira ka.
people like you and Gibo, Tariela and Gibo and
And Anyo.
Anyo, kayo ang putting a monkey wrench to the good diplomatic relations between China and the Philippines. That would have spared a lot of Filipino people yung buhay nila kung sakali man na tinutulak nyo ang gera. Because tulad ng sinasabi ni Ricky Manalo, ang general rule is really to maintain and seek diplomatic solutions
Peaceful means.
to our problem with China para hindi tayo mapasubo sa gera.
Ang ginagawa nito mga ito, hindi lang nila hinaharang, sinisiraan pa nila, ginagatungan pa nila.
Ginagatungan pa.
Iniintriga pa nila.
Imbis na magiging
Tapos tinitwist.
light-minded sila, at sinasabi pa nitong isang observer, pakinggan natin ito, kasi ito is a witness na real na nangyayari. Ito, pakinggan
May
natin
video
ito.
panoorin natin.
Mayroon pa siyang video sa nangyayari, at ina-attest niya yung sinasabi ni Balilio, yung katotohanan at sa kasinungalingan nitong si Tariela. Okay, let's listen to this kind of truthful narration.
In other news, China attempts to block a Philippine rescue mission Saturday following an engine explosion of a Filipino fishing boat near Bajo de Masinloc.
Another day, another lie. This is your favorite half Chinese, and this is what really happened. Look at the video and decide for yourself what you really saw. I want you to look at, are there any Philippine Coast Guard in the nearby? Do you see any? Who are they blocking? Honestly. They said they were blocking them, right? They said they were blocking the Filipino Coast Guard. Look, this is the Chinese Coast Guard. Sorry, I'm pointing at my screen. I'm a little bit too excited. Now look what are they doing? Oh, is that blocking or is that saving people? That's what you throw in the water for people to save people, right? Isn't it? Does it look like they're blocking, or are they trying to save these people? You tell me. Look at them. They're taking them off the ship. Look, pulling them out of the water, doing everything to save these kind of people. Does it look like they are blocking the Filipino Coast Guard? And do you see the Philippine Coast Guard anywhere? Because the ship over there, further, that's a Chinese Coast Guard, right? Yeah, and if it was a Filipino Coast Guard, there's no ship blocking him, right? Let's be honest here. We gotta be honest here, people. And I hope the Filipino people right now see that your media is lying to you, and it was first your government that was coming up with this story. You should start to wonder, why are they doing that? Because that's very important for you to understand. Why are they lying to you about a thing like this? Isn't it disgusting that they're lying to you, that Chinese people are trying to block these kind of people while actually they are trying to save them? I mean, you can be angry with China for whatever you want for the territorial dispute, but you cannot say that they were not rescuing the Philippine people who were in distress because their boat exploded, or the engine of their boat exploded, right? It was really clear. And in this video, also the Philippine Coast Guard also say thank you to the Coast Guard of China. I have no sound on it because it got music on it, and I'm a little bit afraid for copyright, right, with the music. So anyways, just wanted to show you in this video. The video says it all, right? Clearly they have been lying to you, and they continue to lie. I really want people to understand, now you see this, how clear of a lie this is, right? I mean, come on. This is extremely disgusting. The Chinese Coast Guard is literally saving Filipinos fishermen from drowning, and then they are being accused of blocking the Philippine Coast Guard from rescuing them. Who rescued them? Just tell me. Who was rescuing them? It wasn't the Filipino Coast Guard. They were nowhere near to be seen. Now, I'm not blaming them for not being there. I mean, the sea is a big place. But you see what's going on? They're a bunch of liars. like every single day, new lies about China. What else is new?
It takes someone who is conversant with what's going on to tell the Filipino people what's really happening. And good enough that isang mabuting tao, mabuting opisyal ng Coast Guard in the name of Commodore Balilio ay naninindigan ng katotohanan or naninindigan sa katotohanan, at yung isang sobrang sinungaling at sobrang bias na pretending to be the spokesman
Arrogante
when he
pa.
was not, ay pinagsabihan na bakit ba magsisinungaling ka? Kung masyado kang bias against China, masyado kang hater sa China, you better shut your mouth.
Hindi
Because
dapat spokesman yan.
hindi sa lahat ng oras
Hindi dapat,
pwede mong sabihin against China kung wala ka namang ebidensya.
hindi dapat Commodore yan eh. Dapat yan, ano lang, ensign. Tagalinis
Well,
lang ng kubeta, dapat yan ng Coast Guard.
Mukha namang ganun ang mukha namang ganun. Kaya hinahanap ni Vicky Bello yan.
Kaya ba nakaganon yung lagi mabaho?
Ay, naku, Daniela.
Palay kasi sip-sip
Kawawa
na
ang,
edad nyo
kung
eh.
nanalo daw ito, sabi nila, kawawa ang Congress.
Ay, nako.
Oo.
Pati Congress, niloloko nyo.
Pero
Pero si-
gustong tumakbo.
Pero si Imee Marcos, may nakita.
Oo. At talagang porsigido ang Amerika na guyuhin tayo. Niloloko nila ang Pilipino because wala naman sila gang balak na makipaglaban sa China. Pero tayo, parang they're making a mockery of the Filipinos. Not the Filipino people, but the Filipino officials. Kasi believe nila na pagsinungalingan nila na lalaban sila by bringing in armaments to our country. Ito,
Lulusob daw.
lulusob na daw.
Sa mga beaches.
At
Maglalambing.
ang real score dyan, hindi talaga
Ito,
ang real story dito behind. Lumabas na lang itong ginigiri nila ang China. Pero ang real story talaga is that the Americans really want to defend Taiwan for selfish reason. Wala talaga silang balak na sakluluhan ang Filipino people or the Philippine government na makipag-away tungkol dyan sa mga
Desperado ang US.
sa mga territory dyan sa South China Sea. Pinapalabas nila para matago yung purpose nila, which is really to support Taiwan. Why? Because they're making money out of it. Taiwan is their main source of revenue kasi naguguyo din nilang Taiwan dahil ang daming pera na bumili ng mga armas sa kanila.
At saka last stand nila ang Taiwan at Pilipinas para makalapit sila sa China.
Oo, pero
hindi sila
wala
makakalapit.
naman talagang interes ang Amerika na tulungan tayo dyan sa makipag-agawan ng teritoryo.
At ito, ang reason kung bakit hindi sila makakalapit sa China without Taiwan and the Philippines. Ito, kay Senator Imee
Pakinggan na naman
Marcos.
natin si Imee. May mga revelations na naman uli.
Meron na naman.
Sa tingin ng China, talagang kumampi na tayo sa kalaban nila. Nagbigay tayo ng 17 base militar sa pakiwari nila, yung EDCA sites. Talagang mainit ang ulo nila. Natatakot talaga ako habang umiinit diyan sa West Philippine Sea, may nakita ako na plano ng China na gagamitin yung hypersonic missile. Hindi naman nila iniisip na lulusob dito sa Pilipinas yung katakot-takot na army nila, mga navy nila. Hindi ganoon. Ang plano, air. At ang plano yung hypersonic missile at nakatakda na yung 25 na target nila. kitang-kita na. Ang sabi ng US, hindi daw nila kaya labanan yung hypersonic missile. Mas lalo akong ninervyos kasi akala ko kapag missile, meron yung ibang bansa yung tinatawag na Iron Dome, hindi makapasok yung missile. Kapag hypersonic daw, kayang-kaya pumasok. Ganyan lang kadali. Durog daw. Ano bang klase yon? Kasi sa pagbabasa natin, may mga Brahmin missile na sa Batanes, pati sa Subic. So yung dalawang yun ang uunahin kasama ng Ilocos kasi may mga live fire na balikatan. Katakot nga Ano ba yan? 25 hindi biro-biro yon.
Ang intensyon talaga ng US is to protect Taiwan. They have no business really, or they have no plans of protecting us in our claim, in our fight with China on this. Pero naguguyo nila tayo na yun ang gusto ng China na lumaban para sa atin. When in fact, yun ang Taiwan talaga ang gusto nila, kaya nga nilapit nila yung EDCA at naglagay na sila ng mga mga Brahman, mga ano pa diyang mga HIMARS na mga malalaking
Brahmos.
pero ang Brahmos, no? Brahmos, yung
Pero ang Brahmos, supersonic lang yan, Hindi yan hypersonic.
No.
Ang hypersonic kasi Mach 8. 8 times the speed of sound. Itong Brahmos, ano lang ito, Mach 3.
So, in other words, binigyan tayo ng inferior para pakitang tao. Pero, gagamitin din nila yan as armaments or mga weaponry pagka nag-invade ang China sa Taiwan. And we will be the staging ground. Pero, ang China, sinasabi ni Imee, pinaghahandaan na tayo ng supersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles. Which is very highly dangerous. And very effective.
Walang interdiction pa ang Amerika dyan sa mga hypersonic ng Russia, ng South Korea, ng North Korea, at saka ng
In
Iran,
other words,
at saka
tagus
China.
talaga sa bituka yan. At hindi yan no amount of parrying or
Hindi.
intercepting will the present weaponries that
Ng
are
US.
placed in the EDCA sites, mga kababayan.
Kasi ang ballistic pa ganun, madaling pag habang bumababa, pwede intercepted. Ang hypersonic, diretso. Diretso pa ganun. At mabilis.
Tsaka kung magkasabay yan, paano mo...
Paano?
At saka we are not in the United States. We are not in other countries where they have already placed so much defenses. Dito, nilagyan pa lang tayo ng...
Nipahat pa lang tayo. Nipahat.
Kawayan pa lang yung nilagay. So, yun po mga kababayan. Gagiging kawawa ang ating Pilipinas. Una, hindi magkasundo ang mga opisyalis. Can you imagine which country in the world nahintayin pa yung presidente na siya pang mag-imbestiga bago sasabihin nyo anong nangyari? Baliktad. Imbis na ang mga kanyang alipores, yun ang mauna na mag-imbestiga, yun ang mauna na sisiyasat kung anong nangyayari at bibigyan siya ng, can you imagine, the President of the Philippines, the Commander-in-Chief, siya pang isa-isahin pa niya yung mga sundalo na kausapin. When in fact, the DND, the Chief of Staff, the generals, the commanding generals of this sector should have already
Hindi, tsaka secretary may video Yung gulo na nangyari dun sa pagkaputol ng may video.
Kaya it's very, very unfair and very, very insulting for Gibo Chodoro to tell that to an executive secretary na sabihin niya, executive secretary naman siya, expected siya na
Para yatang nabastos. Parang nabastos.
executive secretary naman siya, expected siya na yung mga sasabihin niya are
Papasok tayo sa gera, tapos hindi malaman kung anong sitwasyon on the ground. Anong klase yan? Oh,
So, yun mga kababayan,
Ngayon-
ganon katindi, ganon kabobo itong ating mga nakalagay diyan nakaupo diyan sa AFP, with due respect to others who are very professional.
From the Chinese
alam mo
viewpoint.
ang armed forces, marami diyang professionals, paring Ado. Marami diyang
Sa Coast
magagaling.
Guard, lalo na.
Tapos lagyan mo ng politiko na kulelat sa eleksyon sa pagka-presidente. So many attempts to run for senator, hindi man mananalo or hindi man makuha.
Tsaka,
Paski sa personal na relasyon sa kanyang pamilya, ibinuboljak ng nagpapalaki sa kanya. How can you have a good armed forces if dapat yan ang nilagay dyan yung mga magagaling, yung si Bacaro, yun ang number one, si General Bacaro.
ito si Browner,
Politiko yan
Politiko
yan
politiko.
Kausap ko yan nung 3 months before election ng isang gabi. Hindi ko na lang sasabihin kung anong pinag-usapan namin pero he's gullible. Yun na lang ang masasabi ko.
Tsaka, kukuha ka pa ng isang spokesman na nung estudyante sa PMA ay nandaya sa kanyang examination.
Hindi naman kinuha yan He pretends to be the spokesman because the real spokesman is a gentleman, is a respectable admiral by the name of Balilo, and yung Gaban napaka-respectable yan
Ronnie Hill Gaban.
Hindi
Very
katulad nung
professional.
isa na kung sa ano pa yan, sa Bisaya pa yan, ang pangalan niyan ay nasa isang pag nagluluto ka, pagka tapos na yung luto, ang tawag niyan yung mga ni pinaglutuan, abo. Abo. Yun ang real abo. Diba abo ang pangalan nun?
Apo. Yung nag-appoint dyan kay
nag-appoint dito sa hinahanap ni Becky Bello.
But this is where China is coming from.
Ngayon, China, after all these ridicules, after all this ginigiri nila, tinatakot nila, tinotont nila, ito ngayon, this will be a warning, and warning nila yan. At what is the worst that could happen after they will do this thing? Sinabi ni Marcos, this is an act of war. We will not allow this. Nasaan ka ngayon, Marcos? Naggira ka na ba? Nagmando ka na ba sa mga sundalo? Fight! Para ipaglaban natin yung mga naputol ang finger, na nabugbog. Pakinggan natin ito.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning made that remark Friday after U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell expressed concern about what he called Beijing's destabilizing actions in the South China Sea. But Mao Ning asserts Manila failed to honor its commitments with Beijing by insisting on delivering construction materials to the BRP Sierra Madre, the country's lone Navy outpost in the West Philippine Sea.
The root cause of the current tense situation on Renai Reef is that the Philippine side has turned its back on the consensus reached with China, challenging China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. the United States side should stop tolerating and supporting the Philippines' provocations and take practical actions to safeguard peace and stability in the South China Sea.
Just last week, Chinese Coast Guard personnel wielding knives and axes blocked a Philippine resupply mission in Ayungin Shoal, leading to a Navy crew member losing a thumb. It was the latest and most serious incident in a series of escalating confrontations between Chinese and Philippine ships in recent months.
Anong sinasabi ng ating Pangulo? Finally, sinasabi niya, oh, that is not an armed attack. Wala namang putok, wala namang baril. Ano pala yung martilyo, mga palakol. Hindi ba armed yan? Ha? Bakit?
Batuta.
Yung baril lang ba mga kapatay? Yung axe, yun ang ginagamit ng mga gera pa nila, King Arthur. Ha? Pagka tinamaan ka ng axe, is it that an armed attack? Kung ginamit ng China yung kanilang stick at saka at may namatay, isn't that an arm? Ano palang definition mo ng arm, Mr. Marcos? Ha?
Substantial kasi dapat ang distraction
Hindi.
to merit a counter-attack. Yun ang according to Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Kaya, Gibo, pag-aralan mo muna yung Article 51 ng UN Charter. Mukhang hindi mo na naman alam. Lawyer ka pa naman.
Saka ito pare, I've been watching the events that unfolded sa United States. Ranging from the debate between Biden and Trump, where Biden was clobbered, and was even ridiculed by most media who used to be very favorable to him. And even there are rumors that the members of the Democratic Party are now very worried that Biden will be convinced to give way to another Democrat to replace him. And during the course of the interviews, there were a lot of interviews on Trump. Very clear ang sinasabi ni Trump. Ayaw niya na gera.
He will end the
Ukraine war
in 24 hours.
He will pacify Israel and the wars there,
and tame the South China Sea.
and even the Philippines. Hindi niya papayagan na ang Amerika at China ay magkaaway.
Paano ngayon si Marcos?
Yun na nga. Pero pare, mayroon daw balita na yung mga wealth ay dinala na sa United Arab Emirates. Parang nag-alsa baluta na yata. Mas kasi baka mawala si Biden, sabi, take the money and run. Mukhang nakakuha na yata. Kaya nilagyan ng maraming EDCA kasi mukhang nagkakuhaan na ng pera. At yung kanyang alleged very close confidant ay nasa
UAE.
Nasa UEA.
Nakadamit ng Muslim.
Pero ang sinasabi, habang nandito sila at nagpipreparar, yung anak naman ay na-hospital.
Sa New York, bakit kaya? Ay,
Ewan ko. Na-hospital daw. Sige.
Anyway, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe dito sa Paras kay Paras at i-click ang notification bell at sa aking YouTube channel at Ado Paglinawan. Sekretary, magpaalam na tayo.
Magandang hapon muli. Ito po ang Iparas kay Paras.